What is up, everyone? This is Ellibod here. Welcome to the Ellibod Sports Network, and this is very different from any of the other videos I've done. I'm going to throw myself into the public cesspool of football fans who are going to rip me apart for my opinion. I'm going to be doing a Premier League prediction for the 2020-2021 season. You're probably wondering, why am I doing this? Well, I work for bookies, I work in odds, and I have to keep up with a lot of football in order to know what's going on for banter with my customers. So, why not throw this out there? I mean, for God's sake, if the Irish guy can do this and get every single prediction wrong last year, then there's no reason I can do that. I'll probably get them all wrong as well. So, here we go. I'm going to do a Premier League prediction. I'm also going to do one for the Championship as well. However, I'm going to do mine slightly differently. Normally, everyone goes with this whole trying to get everything spot on. I'm not that kind of person. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to score myself on how my Premier League predictions go with well, as I said, a point system. If I get a prediction spot on, 5 points. If I get my prediction 1 place out, 3 points. If I get my prediction 2 places out, 1 point. And any further, then it's an incorrect prediction. My target is going to be 20 points for the Premier League. So I have to get every single team within the 2 place caveat. Okay, here we go. So, starting off at the bottom, 20th, I've got to go West Bromwich Albion. If there is ever a club that defines the term yo-yo club, it is West Brom. They come up, only to go back down, they come up again, only to go straight back down. This has never ever changed with West Brom, and I don't see it changing this year either. From what I can see, West Brom haven't really made any particular movements in terms of getting in the players they need for the Premiership. I mean, the players you need in the Championship and the players you need in the Premiership are 2 entirely different creatures. So, I just don't see it happening with West Brom. And even if, again, if you allow my 2 place caveat, I'm still predicting that West Brom are going to get relegated. So, West Brom, bottom of the table. 19th. How are you still up? How are you still in the Premier League? I'm sorry, you've got to go down. Brighton Hove Albion. I don't get you lot. You don't even have players that are worthy of League One, and yet you're still in the Prem. You keep holding on every single year by the length of a gnat's dick. You've got to go down eventually, and I reckon this year you're gonna go down. Again, you may survive by the skin of your teeth, but I don't think it's gonna happen this year. I reckon that Brighton will go down. 19th place. 18th. I hate the fact I'm going to say this because it's my club, it's the club I support. I may not sound like it, but this is my club. 18th, Newcastle United. Again, I hope this prediction is wrong, to be honest, but following the whole failed talks, the failed takeover, and the fact we've still got Mike Ashley in charge of Newcastle, and it's probably going to be, but a lot of the players like Joe Linton or St. Maxima are going to end up going during this transfer window. So I reckon Steve Bruce will probably be sacked by Christmas as well. I mean, I'll be shocked if Newcastle end in the top half. That would be a fucking dream for me. But I don't see it happening. Sorry, I just don't. And again, I hate the fact I'm saying that because it's my club. but I just don't see us surviving this time. 17th, surviving just Crystal Palace. Again, Crystal Palace don't seem to make any advancements on their squad. If they're going to survive, they need to bring in first of all, some competent defenders, but also, there's no way that Wilfried Zaha is going to be staying at the club that much longer. You need to get someone in that is able to replace him, and it seems that Crystal Palace aren't even bothering with that. So, yeah, you'll probably survive just, and probably when I say just, I mean like points difference. You're probably going to have a higher points difference than Newcastle and scrape by just on that alone. I mean, you could still do something in the transfer window, but I just don't think you're going to. 16th. I think last season was a fluke, and the condition that the players were playing under, the quality of football when football came back from the lockdown, kind of shows that. So 16th, I'm going with Sheffield United. Again, going back to the whole point about the quality of football that's been played, and the fact that you were knocking on the door of Europe and then dropped so far in terms of wins, in terms of quality of football, it just showed that without a stadium full of your fans, you've got nothing to ride except maybe your girlfriends. But even that's not going to keep you, even that's not going to get you into the top half. I reckon you will come 16th. You may end up getting relegated, but it will take a lot of bad luck for that to happen. 15th. My 15th place is going to be Aston Villa. I reckon that Villa are going to try and make more moves to get the players they need in order to become a solid Premier League team. I mean, they only scraped by last season, and it now looks like that Ireland's favourite son, Jack Grealish, is going to be staying at Aston Villa. Oh wow, I just said that, didn't I? I bet the Irish guy's blood pressure is rising. But it looks like he's going to be staying at Aston Villa. The supposed talks with Man United haven't come to anything, and it looks like Man United are probably targeting someone else. I'll talk a little bit more about Man United when I come to their position, but it looks like Aston Villa are going to keep Jack Grealish. And to be honest, I think Jack Grealish will actually be happy with that. He's effectively a Villa hero, I think. 14th. I think this club are going to want to do everything in their power to avoid the humiliation the last time they got relegated from the Prem. Fulham. Fulham are going to want to be, they are going to be desperate to avoid humiliation, and I think they're going to get in the players they need to secure at least 2 seasons of Premier League football. Might be a bit shaky, but I reckon you could scrape an odd win here and there. I mean, for all we know, given the conditions of the higher up teams, you might beat some of the other teams, but I've ranked higher than you. But I just think you're also going to fall short at some of the bigger teams, and even teams that you really should be beating. I think Fulham's squad is good. I mean, you showed how good you were in the playoff game against Brentford. But the fact it ended 0-0 and had to go to extra time, I think, is a bit of an indication that you do need to give it. You need to give some more oomph, and I think you're starting to bring in the players that are going to bring more oomph. 13th, West Ham United. This is one I kind of feel sad for, because there's part of me that actually thinks that you might suffer a mass exodus of talent. Mainly because of the way that your owners have been running your club. I mean, join the club, mate. As I said, I'm a Newcastle fan. But, yeah, I don't see you getting any higher than 13th, to be honest. I mean, again, if you allow my 2-place caveat, you may come 11th, but you're going to come nowhere near the top half. 12th, I think this club are going to start a decline in terms of quality, and that is Burnley. I mean, You've still got Sean Dyche, and he's proved himself to be a competent manager when it comes to sneaking points. I mean, he's being called everyone else. He's being called the prototype of Tony Pulis. But no, I actually think Sean Dyche is actually a bit more interesting than Tony Pulis was. But again, I don't see really any advancement from last season. I don't see any like big, sort of big inflow, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I reckon 12th. 11th, this club are going to want to do everything in their power to avoid being anywhere near the relegation zone this season. And that is going to be Southampton. I think that this club really do have aspirations for a lot bigger than where they are punching right now. And I think that the desire to avoid relegation at all costs is going to drag this club up. I mean, you look at some of the style of play in Southampton, like, okay, yeah, they shipped 9 last season at home, but they're still going to want to survive and avoid that kind of humiliation again. And I think the fact it happened to them last season, I think is only going to further their determination to have it not happen again. 10th. Come on, you've waited 16 years to get back into the Prem. You're not going to want to go straight back down, are you? You're going to want to fight for this, and I think you are going to fight for this. 10th, Leeds United. This is a club that has really made something under its new manager, and winning the championship the way that you did was absolutely astounding. So I reckon you're going to want to ride that momentum. Yeah, you're probably going to struggle against the higher up teams, but I reckon you're going to pretty much demolish a lot of the teams that I've ranked towards the relegation zone. So solid 10th for Leeds United. 9th. I don't see this club getting back into Europe anytime soon, even with the investments that's been going in. It's not going anywhere, is it, Everton? I mean, for God's sake, you are watching Liverpool obtain the success that they've been obtaining. Surely that must rub on you a bit. Surely that must make you think, they're doing this, we can do this as well. But you're just not. And yeah, okay, you might do a bit better this season, but you're not going anywhere fast. You might have a couple of good results. I mean, it's one of the things I've noticed, but whenever Man United come to Everton, Everton seem to get pretty good results. But that's about it. I just don't see you coming any higher than 9th. Again, might get 7th, but nowhere near Europe. That's a shame. 8th, I have got Wolves. This is a club that's becoming very, very solid in the Premier League, and are able to pull off some pretty good results when their backs are against the wall. And you hopefully can see more of that this season. I'm thinking they're actually going to have a very good season. They may scrape into European football. I mean, it came short in Europa, but of course that's going to mean, if my memory serves me correct, but there's going to be no European football for you this season. So you can focus a bit more just on the Prem and the FA Cup and League Cup if you want, but you can actually focus more of your energy on the Premier League. So do that. I reckon you will have a pretty good one. 7th, starting to get into the possible European territory, but things just haven't clicked at Tottenham Hotspur. The clash between player and manager at the moment in terms of styles has just not been... I mean, wasn't that one of the things that Jose Mourinho was meant to do? Take Tottenham to that higher level? And it's just not happened. Yeah, I look back when you were under Mauricio Pochettino. You had it made there. You should have just kept him. But instead you aspire to try and become bigger, so you sack Pochettino and get in a proven winner, and he's proving himself to be anything but. there's part of me that really thinks Mourinho is really losing his golden touch. And I don't think it's coming back anytime soon. But I still think the quality of players at Tottenham Hotspur, Kane, Son, those kind of people, they're going to keep you scoring big and get you into 7th place. 6th, still riding high, but just being outside of that big 5, Leicester. If you can keep hold of Vardy, then you're going to be alright. I reckon Vardy is going to continue to be a scoring machine, and he's going to keep you lot in the higher ends. Well, higher ons? Sounds like an alien from Star Trek. In the higher ends of the Premier League. Really not much else to say on Leicester. I think you can work on your defence a little bit. Maybe getting some sterner people at the back that you know are going to keep those big balls out. But I think you're going to have it pretty good. 5th, I am going for the Arsenal. Winning the FA Cup can normally bring some big momentum, and not only that, you're winning the Community Shield is also going to help you ride high a little bit. So I reckon that Arsenal are going to start to rebuild a bit of competence, a bit of consistency, and I think you're going to have a very good season this one. I know last season was very disappointing if you don't include the FA Cup win, but I reckon now you're going to start to rebuild and get something better for yourself. You might win the FA Cup again. Be interesting, wouldn't it? So now we get to the top 4. In 4th place, Man United. It seems weird how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has actually brought up a pretty level-headed, competent side. And I think some of the young talent coming through at Manchester United is going to be leading them to big things. I do wish, though, that you would sell Jesse Lingard. He is absolutely talentless. Why is he still on your books? It actually makes me feel pretty angry that you're keeping him in the Prem, and I shouldn't even care about you, but I'm actually angry that you're keeping Jesse Lingard around. He is not talented in the slightest. But I think the talent at Old Trafford at the moment is going to lead them on to some pretty big things, but I think there are 3 teams better. Speaking of, 3rd place. This is probably going to shock a couple of you, but I'm going with this team. But 3rd, Man City. Here's the thing. It looks like you're going to be getting the 2nd best player in the world. Yep, that's right, I'm saying the 2nd best player in the world. The best in the world is Kylian Mbappe. In my opinion, at least. But I reckon there's going to be a lot of hype around Lionel Messi if he comes to Man City. Even if he doesn't, I still think Man City will have it good. But if Messi does, here's the thing. There's going to be a lot of egos. A lot of big egos at Manchester City. And they're going to be players wanting to get first team football for this club, and they're not going to get it because of Lionel Messi being there. So I reckon that players are going to start becoming a bit irked by that. And that's why I think you'll fall short of the Prem. Again, if you allow my 2-place caveat, then if you do win the Prem, then I'm still within that caveat. But I just feel that it's not going to be... I still think you're not going to win the Prem. At least, not yet. There needs to be time. When you get these big players in, you start to rebuild the club around those big players. So, you're still going to have it good. 2nd. Sorry, but I don't think you're going to retain the title. Liverpool. There is no denying how good this squad is. But Liverpool retaining the Premier League, I think, is going to be too much of an ask. I think the pressure is going to get to the team. I think that they're gonna crack under that pressure. And eventually, when fans start being allowed back into the stadiums, I think it's only going to wear on the players a little bit more. I mean, yeah, you've still got this great quality behind you, but I think second for Liverpool. So that leaves one team left, the team I'm predicting to win the Premier League this season. If the usual top two of Man City and Liverpool aren't in that run for the title, then you always go with the boys in London in blue. I am going with Chelsea to win the Premier League. I think the club is going to make all the right moves in the transfer market. There's already been some big moves for Chelsea Football Club. I reckon that, if you strengthen up that defence, which from what I've been reading you've already been doing, and I think what you've got at the front is going to be perfect for you. So I'm pretty confident that it's going to be a Chelsea Premier League win. Right, so there you go. I have opened the floodgates, and now I await your criticism and hatred in the comment section below. Who do you think I'm overrating? Who do you think I'm underrating? Who do you think I'm being too nice to? Who do you think I'm being too nasty to? Let me know in the comment section below. Oh boy, that's going to be an interesting read, ain't it? I will do a reactions video to this as well, so that'll be interesting, won't it?